Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is episode number 30 of the Amber Army's YouTube channel's Football Manager 2018 experiment with Celtic and Rangers in the English League. And this is our final regular season episode, guys. Again, as I always say, a big thank you to all of you who've kept up with this series. But I'll probably end up doing that again at the end of the episode. We've still got the rest of this season to play out before we say our final goodbyes. Obviously, we are going to be doing a 10-year fast forward episode at the end of this, but that'll just be an overlook at where they are 10 years down the line. So in 2042 that will be, but we're still in 2032, we're still in February. Celtic and Rangers, they're both having decent seasons. Celtic, as long as they stay in the top 10, I'm sure they'll be happy. Rangers, as long as they stay clear of relegation, they'll be happy. And there you go. Rangers are 13 points clear with a game in hand, so no relegation again for them. Celtic sitting on 37 points, they're 8 points in front of their counterparts Rangers, but Rangers do have a game in hand over them. 12 wins for Celtic, and they've managed to get a cheeky win over Man United, and they beat Rangers. Managed to get a draw against Tottenham, which we saw in the last episode, and there's the 11 losses, mainly against Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, 2 against Man City as well. Rangers, so they've won 8 games, no real big teams that they've beaten. They've managed to draw against Chelsea, but then the 10 losses, as you can see, against Celtic, against Man United, Chelsea, Man City. So, you know, they're not losing many games to weak teams. I mean, the only game they're going to be really disappointed in losing there is where they lost at home to Crystal Palace. No, Rangers didn't lose at home to Crystal Palace. We were looking at West Brom's. So, no, they're all pretty high-profile teams. Only one is Watford, really, two places above them, and Burnley were 1 place above them. So, Rangers having a decent season then, pushing on. Celtic, hoping to do the same. They're 4 points away from 5th place. They're then only 7 points away from a Champions League spot. So, starting with Celtic, let's have a little look at the January transfer window business. So, 2 in. They brought in Adel El Shanawi, whoever he is. 19-year-old Egyptian who's already been capped 27 times, mental, left back. A hot prospect for the future. Could be a bit of a bargain there. And whoever this is, from whoever that is, I think it's a Chinese team, a 30-year-old Ukrainian who's on £250,000 a week. How much money are they getting in the Premier League to be paying their players that amount of money? But there you go, Celtic. Some decent looking business there for January. Didn't need many players. They've already got a really good squad there. They could just do with pushing themselves up that league a little bit. Rangers doing rather decently. Any business. So 1 player in, and that was Nicolas Caballero, a centre back from Everton. So could be a decent acquisition. He was at Copa America. Oh, pardon me. Oh, God. Getting the yawns on. I'm not bored of the game, honestly. It's just I've had to record. What I usually record in the morning time is quite late at night at the moment because I got plans over this weekend. But Copa America winner, promoted via the playoffs with, well, I don't know, doesn't say. But anyway, so Rangers only bring the one in, a few out, but looking at the price tags, not really high profile. Rangers. They had to beat Rosenborg. They lost to Rosenborg. Did they get through? They did in the end. Let's have a little look at that group stage. Group E they were in, weren't they? No, they weren't. I'm talking shit again. All groups. Group C they were. So Zenit and Olympiacos must have drew. Rosenborg were already 8 of it, so Rangers went through with 9 points. Wow. must have feared the worst when they lost to Rosenborg. So Rangers, oh God, Cup fourth round, drew 1-1 at home to Arsenal. Got the replay coming, but they both got Dynamo Kiev. It's funny how Celtic had just signed a Ukrainian, and now Rangers are playing against a Ukrainian team. But there we go. Rangers still in Europe. Celtic, let's have a little look at their cup progress. So Celtic beat Liverpool in the FA Cup fourth round, still yet to know who they're playing in the fifth round. So we'll see if Celtic can go on a cup run themselves. Obviously Rangers winning the Carabao Cup last year. Can Celtic replicate that, but with the more prestigious cup competition? We shall see. So I've got to look at this. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, good God. What the hell? Eddie Howe's been sacked. The guy that got them into the Premier League got the sack. And Xherdan Shaqiri is now the manager of Celtic. Mark Venus took over as caretaker, which he has done on many occasions. And Shaqiri. So, a fair bit of experience from this guy. So he's been QPR manager, he's been he played up until 2027, which is when he retired. So he was a QPR manager, Crystal Palace, Sheffield Wednesday, Leicester, and now Celtic. So Celtic would have to pay a bit of money to prize him away. So Eddie Howe sacked. He got sacked on the 7th of the 1st, so we didn't really miss it, did we? It was during our skipping period. And Mark Venus had 9 days in charge, and now Shaqiri has been in charge of Celtic for 17 days. So let's have another quick look at what games that would have been then. So he would have led Celtic into, well, from around about there. So 17 games in charge, or 17 days in charge. So Bournemouth would have been his first game, or would have been Palace, possibly Palace. But I'd imagine this cluster of losses would have been the thing that lost what's-his-face's job, because looking at it, West Brom might have been the nail in the coffin. Then, yeah, that would add up. That would pretty much add up, yeah. Losing to West Brom would have been a 3rd Premier League loss in a row. And then 6 Premier League losses in 8 Premier League games. That is where Celtic have gone downwards, and that is what got Eddie Howe the sack. Well. Out of curiosity as well, Rangers, what's their managerial position looking like? So it's still Stephen Kirby, who's having a pretty decent season, fair play to him. Actually doing pretty well. Paul Clement, I still can't believe that's nearly 8 years in charge, and he left to go and be England manager. Would want to take that job. Anyway, I'm really eager to see how this season plays out. Will Rangers have a run in Europe? Will Celtic have a run in the FA Cup? Will Celtic push up the league under Shaqiri? And will Rangers finish in the top 10? I suppose that is a realistic aim for them. We shall see, guys, and then we will have a little look at the Scottish League, just to sort of finalise that one, see if there's any last minute surprises in that league. But anyway, I'll see you guys at the end of this season. Okay then, guys, here we are, the conclusion of our final season on the game. And there you go, Celtic. Final season of the experiment anyway. So Celtic end up having a big rush up the table. I don't like this league table like this. That's more like it. So Celtic a big rush up in the league, 60 points, which is a decent return really. They won half of their games, only drawing 3, but 16 losses. Yeah, that's a bit poor. I mean, they need to start doing better against the bigger sides, but we're not going to be keeping track of that anymore. Rangers end up having a decent season. They were safe quite easily, really. But 47 points would have been a bit closer to the mark in usual Premier League seasons, but Man City run away with the title as they seem to have done quite often during this thing. It's just littered with Man City. Chelsea nipped in with the odd one, and Man United nipped in with a few as well. But it's been mainly Man City. No Arsenal, no Liverpool, no Tottenham, which I think in real life it'd be a bit different than that. But Celtic finishing 6th, which I think is their best finish so far. They'll be in Europe next season. Rangers in 12th, which I think is their best finish so far. So all looking good then. I think Rangers are now Premier League established. Celtic are more than Premier League established. Celtic are climbing now. So yeah, it doesn't mean that we're going to do any more seasons now. This is literally it, guys. We will do the 10-year fast forward episode next, but this is the last regular season episode. So let's have a look at the player stats and see. I'd rather have a look at the more detailed ones, really. So have a quick look if anybody had any decent players in the end. Celtic had Sado Lopez in 20th place in this, but then when you go out, the places is littered with Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. I think that's an Everton. Yeah. Goals. So 17 isn't a good return. That's not a good goal scoring season in my eyes at all. But did Celtic end up having anybody? Well, the one German, they signed 2 of them, didn't they? So they must have alternated between them both. So the one scored 12, the one scored 11. So it did pretty good in the end. Assists. So Sado Lopez. So he was the left winger that they bought. And Lewis Patten, who was that? A £56 million. Oh yeah, he's that young Belgian they signed, that future, that wonder kid. Yeah, you can understand him being part of something there with assists and that from centre midfield. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There's no point looking at the goalkeepers, is there? But that's that. That's Celtic and Rangers, fully established Premier League teams. So the Ladbrokes Premiership was won by Hibs again. So there you go. Hibs are the most successful Scottish team about now. Aberdeen had a little bit of a flirtation, should we say, with the Premier League, winning it 3 times during our 15 seasons. St Mirren picking up 1, Dundee United picking up 1, and then obviously Hibs winning it 10 times. Let's have a little look. One final look at Scottish teams in Europe. Champions League. So they qualify for the Champions League again for the group stages. They lost and they lost, but they beat Porto away. Good God. But they lost 3-1 at home. That just makes no sense. Yeah, they were always going to do poorly in that. Didn't get into the Europa League either. But Hibs have done themselves proud. I mean, they're rich. They got a reputation which is just as good as Rangers, probably because of their Champions League antics. Well, Hearts have gone down. Good God. There you go. Ladbrokes Championship. Let's go and have a little look at Barrow and Gateshead, who were maintaining again. None of them close to promotion, none of them close to relegation. They've definitely, as we said before, found their level in the Ladbrokes Championship, which is testament of the strength that is actually within the conference, considering Gateshead and Barrow were sort of regulars in that division. I know Gateshead were beaten playoff finalists, and Barrow have had a couple of good seasons lately in real life. You know, they're sort of stable teams in that division. So, you know, no big history between any of the two of them. You know, no massive fan base. So, with that in mind, the fact that they can maintain in the Ladbrokes Championship like this just shows how strong the conference is. I know this is only a game, but this is a very, very accurate sort of simulation of it. So yeah, it's gotta be fair, guys. This whole experiment has proven to have brought some extremely interesting results in both the English and the Scottish leagues. I never thought the Scottish League would flourish as much. I never thought Celtic would get as high as they got. Didn't think Rangers would actually make it to the Premier League. But it just goes to show that extra support, what it does. For those of you who have been following our experiments for some time, would have recalled the Newport County Russian takeover. Injecting money into a football club doesn't necessarily give you success. Having a bit of heritage and history and a good fan base is what's going to bring that to you. That's why Portsmouth have finally got themselves out of League 2 in real life, and will end up getting back up towards the Championship, Premiership one day. Just goes to show, I mean, the better supported teams are the ones that always tend to do the best, as long as the clubs are being run properly. And I find that the fans-owned clubs are the ones, fans-owned, good fan base, are the ones that tend to be doing a lot better. And this goes to show that Celtic and Rangers got into the Premier League because of their history and heritage, not because of their money. I mean, the money helps, but injecting money into a football club doesn't guarantee success. Having a great fan base is a better tool to move forward with. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for keeping up with this series. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I think we are at a point where we're not going to really extract any further results out of this one. But as I said, we will do the 10-year fast forward and see where they end up there. So until then, guys, thanks again and cheerio for now. Good night.